the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Good football player for Tennessee, and I think you saw this past year with what he did in Miami and just his talent. Tennessee missed that on the other side of the line of scrimmage this year, and I kind of wonder if they go into next year and, like, because you're losing so much in the interior, like, do you slide Dominic Bailey inside as one of your rotation guys in the middle next to Eason and company, and you are just like, hey, whether it's Isaiah Campbell or Tyree Weathersby, Tyree West, like, we have to upgrade our pass rush chops on that side, and we just need we have to raise the floor back to find our next Tyler Barron on that side. Do you think that's a good idea? Because I think that should be an offseason position of insight, is that, look, we have a lot of talent on that side. Marion Dye, I should mention too. Like, he's going to probably be over there. Like, I think they need a athleticism pass rush upgrade on that side, because I think that's one of the under talked about points that they were missing last year on the defensive line, was just they didn't replace Barron.
Barron was good, man. From a pure football perspective, he had 6.5 sacks. Pearce had 11.5 sacks, and Omar Norman Lott had 5.5 sacks. I mean, that is a dang good year on your defensive line. And they all made each other better, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, Pearce missed that presence on the other side for sure, and you know, in Rabbit's package, he would slide inside, and Barron was bigger. I mean, Barron was bigger than Dom Bailey, than Bryson Eason. So, like, I felt like he could handle the interior. You know, whether that's a 4-eye, a 3, a shade, you know, whatever. He was never playing like a head-up nose or anything, but he could handle it a little bit better than I think a Bailey could. Now, Bailey's not a small boy. He's 6'2.5", like, you know, 295 or whatever. Eason is listed on the roster at 310. He was quick to remind us in the media one time last fall that he was not 300 pounds. I don't know, man. Every time we bring up Dom Bailey sliding into DT, like as a true DT, not as a package, I don't like it much, but in order to get more of your, I mean, West needs to play a lot more. I think Omar Norman Lott, for a lot of reasons that we're not going to get into, I think Omar Norman Lott didn't play enough this year. He was good. I mean, I mean, he's going to probably be a top 45 pick. I mean, he's a really good football player. I think you need to find a way to get your football players on the field more. So I'm a big believer in West. I'm a believer, obviously, in Joshua Josephs. I like Eason. I like Dom Bailey too. So I do think sliding him down inside is something they could explore because they rotate so much. I just wouldn't live in that. I don't want to live in a world where Dominic Bailey is only playing defensive tackle, because I think that Jackson Moy, you know, Eason, obviously, Hobbs, I'm intrigued to see what Jamal Wallace looks like, Nathan Robinson. I think that, you know, if given the opportunity, some of those guys to step up and take those snaps. But any way you want to spin it, Joshua Josephs is going to need somebody to be a presence there on the other side. I mean, Tyler Barron was James Pearce's best friend in 2023. Barron was a good football player. He was missed for sure. Got a lot of options, but nobody was as productive as he was, you know, throughout the course of the season. It was kind of weird. Like, Tyler Barron would be boom or bust. He would go kind of like James Pearce. I mean, that's pass rushers in a sense. Yeah. Like, they'd have 2 sacks in a game, and then you wouldn't hear from them for 2 games. And they would have, you know, 2 sacks in a half, and then you wouldn't hear from them. That's kind of how Tyler Barron was as well. But I do think that you will see Bailey shift inside a little bit this year. I think Isaiah Campbell's a great candidate to be a defensive tackle. Marion Dye eventually is going to be in the position where Dominic Bailey is now, but I think he's kind of a bigger guy. Jaden Lofton's not big enough, in my opinion. There's just so many different freshmen that I think.
What do you think Lofton is then?
I think Lofton will be a defensive, not a Leo. He will be a defensive end, but like right now, like, I mean, he's coming off an injury, 1, and 2, like, he's a smaller guy. They have got to put weight on him. Like, we'll see how it works in fall camp and all that. I mean, I don't want to call the red shirt.
What about Carson Gentle? He's kind of in that, like, right?
He is. Again, they just have so many guys, and like, I haven't seen Carson Gentle enough, but like, the coaches love him. They said that he was a great practice player last year. I think he got like a little bit of run there in one of those games, and he was pretty productive. But the coaching staff believes Carson Gentle is going to be a guy that can help them. But then again, there's a log jam at defensive end, because I mean, right off the top of my head, I don't have it in front of me, but you've got Bailey, West, Weathersby, Gentle, Lindstrom, who right now I don't think is going to factor in.
Yeah.
Dye, Lofton, Isaiah Campbell potentially. I mean, I probably missed some. You got so many guys, and there's only one spot there. So yeah, I think to answer your question, I know I keep rambling. I do think Don Bailey will shift inside. I just don't want Tennessee to live in that. Like if he's your fifth option at defensive tackle, okay, that's fine. But I still want him playing where he normally is because talk about going in spurts. Man, Don Bailey was great against NC State. Don Bailey was great, I think, against Alabama. So he's had his moments for sure.
I think that's fair. I just think you want to push those strong side guys to like Tyree West would be the best case scenario because I think he played really well. Either is Oklahoma or NC State. Which was the one where he really shined on? Where I was like, oh, is he breaking out? Which one was that?
It was UTC the opener.
Was that? They're all blending together. I think UTC was the opener because
UTC is when he dominated because the picture I used for him all year was in that gray jersey. He was like,
yeah.
UTC was the one that he did really well.
And I mean, he has the talent. Like, he's a former 4-star Tift County down there in South Georgia. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, that would be great. I just think they just kind of need someone to break out like a Barron on that side. Like, I don't know who it is, but they just need one of these guys to break through. Maybe it's Tyree Weathersby because he had that kind of buzz coming in, and maybe we'll see where he's at health wise. But I mean, that'd be great if it's Weathersby if he can take that Barron role.
Weathersby was talked about being a part of the rotation as a true freshman in 23, and then he got hurt, and that's why it's so like interesting because it's like, oh well, you just assume he's going to be a dude for him this past year. He wasn't. Jason Jenkins was, and Jason Jenkins turned into a pretty good player. But they have a lot of guys. I think Tyree West has got such high potential. He's another guy that I think could slide inside. He does that on Rabbit's package, but Joshua Josephs needs a Robin for sure because I think Joshua Josephs is super talented. And James Pearce, a lot of times this past year, in my opinion, he didn't help himself out enough. Like he gave up so many sacks because he over pursued or he was trying to arm tackle or he let go. It's like, dude, you finished the year with 7.5 sacks. He could have easily had 10 sacks if not for his own self. Plus, he got held all season long. But you need somebody on the other side, and Tyler Barron was great for Tennessee in that regard.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.